What's up, everyone? This is going to be Fairy Tale 100 Year Quest, Chapter 59, Gears of Fate. And this chapter is mainly about the conclusion to Jalal versus the Gears Godseed character, anyway. So I did enjoy the cover page quite a bit. It's Jalal playing with some cats. I thought that was quite adorable indeed. And I especially did enjoy this fight. There's this one part where we see Jalal do his meteor dash, but he sees that it's just a projection of himself. I thought that was pretty trippy, and that was pretty cool. And what happens is he actually gets beat. But as per usual, I don't really rate most of these fairy tale fights anyway, considering it's always like some power up, like friendship power up, and it was the same. No, nevertheless, in this one. So this God Seed's power is the ability to steal thought, and the it was quite nice how we see that the thought that is manifested in Jalal is actually his guilt, especially towards Urza. That's why he sees Urza all the time as he's fighting this God Seed, and he struggles. And as the fight goes on, he actually loses sense of himself, and his mind stops working. And in some BS way, he actually enters this other dimension where where what do you call it where all time he somehow ends up in the time distorted world because his body and thoughts have been stopped by magic. So that was pretty interesting. He's entered this different dimension, and we see Altia, like the I don't know, the amount of times she just randomly appears and helps out the heroes is actually too much to count, because she does it way too often. But here she is again, giving some advice to Jalal, and because of this Jalal pretty much has like an epiphany moment, and it's quite. I don't know if I'm being dumb, but I was kind of confused when Jalal just he makes a clone of himself, and he puts all the guilt in himself into that person, calling him what does he call him? Sigreen. So he's pretty much made a clone of himself, and he removed all the guilt in his body, and with that he's pretty much clear of thought, and he beats this dude with one shot, just like one shot. So I thought that was pretty crazy. But I gotta say, I did enjoy the badass moment at the end with Jalal, and shows that he's quite. I'm really disappointed with these Godseed characters because they're supposed to be the embodiment of Alderaan, and considering the fact that nearly all of the fairy tale characters are beating them one by one and fairly easily, might I ask, it just shows that maybe they're not all that they're cut out to be. The power scaling in this show has always been a bit off, and that's just another what do you call it? Just another complaint I have about this. But yeah, and his magic trick was quite nice. That he actually, what do you call it? The foundation of his magic is guilt, and stimulated his mind. So I found it quite impressive that Jalal figured his magic quite interesting, quite quickly. But that I think the highlight of this chapter was definitely the Altir appearance anyway, and she comes and helps. But I gotta say her appearances are always, as I consider, an ass pull. Like, why? There's no reason to bring her into the story again, but she's always coming back in the story. And I did like at the end how Jalal says that his and Urza's gaps have finally overlapped, considering that they've always been like separated. Now they're actually converging. So they're always parallel, but now they're meeting at a point. So that's quite interesting. And this kind of further cements their shipping, and actually shows some progression towards their relationship. And I did like the interaction. We had a little cutscene with um, Urza and Loxus, and I did like how much Loxus respects and what do you call it? Respects Jalal's power, as the fact that he wasn't even worried and he knew he'd be able to take care of himself. And obviously, I did like the joke where he refers to Jalal as Urza's boyfriend, and she gets flustered. I mean, the flustered thing was kind of typical, but I did like how he just nonchalantly calls him her boyfriend, so I thought that was quite a cool chapter. But nevertheless, this chapter was great, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. See you guys next time.